Hello friends, today I am going to talk about a topic that is very interesting as well as informative. I am going to talk about the founders and fathers in English literature. Let's start. Geoffrey Chaucer is called the father of English literature as well as the father of English poetry. He is also referred to as the father of English poetry and English language. He is also called the morning star of the Renaissance and the first national poet. Aeschylus is the father of tragedy. Edmund Spenser is called the poet's poet by Charles Lamb. He is also referred to as the child of Renaissance, and Edmund Spenser is the bridge between Renaissance and Reformation. William Caxton is the father of English press. Francis Bacon is called the father of English essay. John Wycliffe is the morning star of the Reformation. Christopher Marlowe is called the father of English tragedy. William Shakespeare is called the bard of Avon and the father of English drama. He is also called the sweet swan of Avon and the bard. All literature lovers are aware that Shakespeare is the brightest and the greatest playwright in English literature. His sonnets and his plays are unmatched for their art of characterization and intensity of emotions. Robert Burns is called the Bard of Scotland. He is also the national poet of Scotland. He is also referred as Rabbi and the ploughman poet. William Dunbar is called the Chaucer of Scotland. John Dryden is called the father of English criticism. William of Newbury is the father of historical criticism. John Donne is a metaphysical poet and a poet of love. John Milton is an epic poet and the great master of verse. His Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained are the greatest epics of English literature. He was also referred to as the Lady of the Christ College and a poet of the Devil's Party. Actually, he has written Paradise Lost to justify the ways of God to man. But while writing, he seems to have been swayed by the emotions of Satan, who was in the Devil's Party. That is why he is referred to as poet of the Devil's Party. He is also referred to as the master of the grand style and the blind poet of England. As students, we were told that Milton was so fond of reading that he lost his eyesight before half of his age, as it has been mentioned in his very popular poem Ode on Blindness, that how has he lost his eyesight before the half age. But he justifies the ways of God, that God doesn't need any person's work or return of his own gifts. Those who stand and wait for their turn are also his greatest worshippers. He has great faith in God, and that is why he started writing Paradise Lost, which was to justify the ways of God to man. Actually, it was written by his daughter as he has lost his eyesight. Now let me tell you about Alexander Pope, who is called the mock heroic poet. He is very popular mock heroic poem, The Rape of the Lock. He seems to have made fun of the epic style by writing about a topic which is very unheroic. William Wordsworth is the greatest poet and priest of nature. He is the worshipper of nature. He is called the lake poet as well as the poet of childhood. He is also called egotistical sublime. He is the greatest poet of Romantic literature, which is considered to be the best period of English literature. Before William Wordsworth, the poets were only talking about human nature. For them, nature meant human nature, and they were always criticizing the negative aspects of human nature. But for William Wordsworth, N is always capital. That is not human nature, it was the nature created by God. All the beautiful aspects of nature, the flowers, lake, rivers, that's why he's called the lake poet and the poet of nature. There has been many poets before William Wordsworth who were talking about nature, but he is the only one who could see the spirit of God in nature. He was the only one who could find the spirit lurking in the littlest of object of nature. Samuel Taylor Coleridge, he is also poet of Romantic era, but more than nature, he is the poet of supernatural. He has different views from Wordsworth, as Wordsworth believed that there is God and sublimity in all the aspects of nature. Coleridge believed that nature is red in tooth and claw. Nature is unaffected by the problems of human beings. Coleridge is also called an opium eater because he used to eat a lot of opium, and in his delirium he has created his finest poem, that is Kubla Khan. It is told that he was sleeping and he wrote Kubla Khan in his dreams, and while he was about to complete his poem, somebody knocked at the door and his delirium was broken, and as he woke up he tried to recollect and wrote some fragments of the poem Kubla Khan, but we all know that fragments are not very clear thought pattern. That's why Kubla Khan is such a difficult poem to read and understand. So both Coleridge and Wordsworth are called the poets and the fathers of Romanticism. They have together written the lyrical ballads. In the Romantic era, we have a poet called Percy Bysshe Shelley, who is called the revolutionary poet as well as poet of hope and regeneration. The famous lines, "If winter comes, can spring be far behind?" is written by Shelley. Lord Byron is called the rebel poet, and John Keats was a poet of beauty. John Keats died when he was only 26 years of age because of tuberculosis. It has been deliberated that had he lived longer, he could have surpassed William Wordsworth because of the intensity of emotion and feeling that he has. He was the only one who could see beauty in ugliness. William Blake is called the mystic poet. John Keats is also referred as chameleon poet. Tennyson is called the representative of the Victorian era. G.B. Shaw is the greatest modern dramatist. Shaw is also called the iconoclast. Jane Austen is referred to as anti-romantic in Romantic age. James Joyce is the father of English stream of consciousness novel. Edgar Poe is called the father of English mystery play. He is also referred to as the father of English short story. Henry Fielding is the father of English novel. Samuel Johnson is the father of English one-act play. Sigmund Freud is a great psychoanalyst. Francesco Petrarch is called the father of sonnet Italian. He is also referred to as the father of humanism. Sir Thomas Watt is the father of English sonnet. Henry Louis Vivian de Rosio is the father of Indian Anglican sonnet. William Hazlitt is the critic's critic. Charles Lamb has written the essays of Elia, and he is called the father of English essay. Arthur Miller is called Mulk Raj Anand of America. Addison is the voice of humanist Puritanism. Emerson is referred to as the Seneca of America. Thomas Nash is referred as young juvenile. Thomas Dekker is the forerunner of humorist. Homer is the father of epic poetry. He is also referred as the blind poet. Henrik Ibsen is referred to as father of modern theatre. Rabindranath Tagore is an Indian national poet. Nizam Ezekiel is the father of Indian English poetry. One thing that has to be clear in the mind of English lovers and literature, that when we talk about English literature, we generally talk about literature written in English. There are certain bifurcations which has to be clear in your mind, like we have American literature, we have Scottish literature, we have British literature, then we have Canadian literature, Australian literature, Aboriginal literature, and so on and so forth. And we also talk about Indian writers writing in English, just as I have just talked about Nizam Ezekiel. So you should be very specific whenever you are talking about Robert Frost or William Wordsworth or Hemingway or William Faulkner. Most of the students will always write that Robert Frost is a great English poet. Of course, he is writing in English, but he is not an English poet. He is an American poet. Similarly, Hemingway and Faulkner, they are great American novelists. They are writers, they write in English, but they are American poets. Similarly, when we talk about poets or writers writing in English in India, they are Indian poets or writers in English. For example, Raja Rao, Mulk Rajanand, Shashi Deshpande, these are writers writing in English. They are called Indian writers writing in English. I hope you will find this information very interesting and useful. As a student of literature or as a teacher of literature, you must understand that although literature doesn't have any boundaries, because literature is talking about human feelings and emotions which are universal. It could be an American poet, Australian poet, or an Indian poet. We all talk about emotions which are universal. Since students have to write from the examination point of view, so they have to be very, very specific that they are writing about William Shakespeare, who is a dramatist as well as a poet. They have to be very precise and clear that they are talking about Robert Frost, who is a poet and an American poet. It is only because of the examination point of view that they should be writing these details. But as far as reading or appreciating a poem is concerned, it doesn't matter whether the poet is an Indian poet, American poet, a male poet or a female poet or a third gender poet or a writer. But for students who have to attempt in their examination, they must understand that they have to be very specific, that whether they are talking about a novelist or a poet or an essayist. But in understanding, all human emotions are the same. We all are same, and writers are different from any lay person in only one medium, that he or she can express what others feel. That is what makes them great, better than us. Thank you.